Hi, I am Bernette and I am on Spirit Speaks with Rebecca. If you've been following the first month or so of posts that we've put on YouTube, you'll know that I'm the channeler and Rebecca has been the interviewer. And I just want to go back a second because I feel like this is something that you need to know and to understand the shift I'm going to talk about, the change in how we do this going forward. So, just about a month ago, two women, myself and Rebecca, were approached by Eric Medus one late night and asked to do this project. And if you've read an earlier blog post, you may know that I was resistant, hesitant. I still have some hesitation about it, and it made me very uncomfortable. Eventually, obviously, we said yes. I said yes. And it was a lot different than I'd expected. I hadn't really been watching any channeling sessions or anyone else channeling. And the way it happened is I came downstairs to say goodnight to my mom who was visiting, and she was watching the Shiny Chat show. And I just commented, "Oh, I could do that." And she said, "Yeah, you could." A moment later, Eric is there asking me to do this. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I, I basically told him I don't have the time. And I was ready to just say, no, don't have the time. I'm busy. And he's a negotiator. So we negotiated. He came through on what I said needed to be shown to me as evidence that I needed to do this, or this was actually something I should be doing. And so after saying yes, it was a lot more intense than I'd imagined. It was not anything I was prepared for. I'm usually spiritually guarded and protected, and so I'm not afraid of any of that. But it was just the intensity, the amount of emotion that came through. Even right now, I can still feel the pain and the hurt, and it was a lot heavier than I'd anticipated. And after we recorded those 14 sessions over a period of just 3 days in blocks of, we did a few and then a few and a few and a few. After that, I was really thinking, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I mean, 14 like that, I don't know if I could do it anymore. And so when my mother left to return home and we were talking about continuing this, I was procrastinating, hesitant, didn't really want to, follow up because I was nervous about how intense it was, because that's a lot to embody. And so finally settled on that we weren't going to do any more now. We would wait till a return trip when we were physically together, which felt better for me, kind of just having someone right there beside me going through this with me. So a few days later, after making that decision of just waiting, I had another experience where I'd sat down to work on my writing. I'm a writer and a poet. And I started to work on some of that. And I had an entity come through. And I'm not going to say who it was because I'm almost embarrassed that I didn't know who it was. Because as I said, this isn't where I was going. This isn't what I was doing. I've written books, I'm trying to do that, trying to do my poetry, trying to do all this other stuff. And bam, just when you think you've got a plan, right? So I know it's important, and I've been trying to listen to spirit. This other entity comes through with a message. It was something I wrote out, so I was receiving it and I was just writing it out, and I typed it up after I wrote it out, and I sent it to Rebecca, and I said, this is really strange, but this came through. And she immediately texts me and says, call me when you get a chance. And I'm thinking, okay. Because she says, you know who this is? And I'm thinking, no. So I call her. She tells me who it is. And some people may have been excited. I was really like, seriously? Seriously? I don't have the time, I don't have the energy. I don't want this burden. And I'm feeling guilty and I'm feeling sad right now. So I didn't want the burden. But I also made a promise to God that when I'm called, I will say yes. Even when it's hard, even when I don't want to show up. When I'm called, I will say yes. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. As hard as it is, I am trying to show up in service and say yes. Excuse me. And so I said, okay, this will have to wait because I can't do everything at once. And I know that that second entity that came through is very important, and I want to be able to give the energy to it. And I said, I don't know how I'm going to do everything that I'm trying to do and do that and add that in. So my desire with this responsibility is to serve, and I cannot do that if I'm burnt out by fully experiencing such intense hurt, pain, and emotion that I did for several of the first 14 sessions. Not all of them were as intense and heavy, but enough of them were that it's not sustainable to do that to myself. I'm a person. I'm a being. I need to be in my space, and I can't do that. And so for myself, and to continue serving those on the other side, those souls who need a voice, who want to come through, who need to be heard, and who want us to hear them and perhaps get some wisdom or messages from them. In order to honor that, I'm going to change the way we do them with the ones that start at the end of June, beginning of summer, so that as a medium, I'm in conversation and I'm honoring their voice, I'm honoring their message, I'm honoring what they feel, and I'm honoring that soul's experience without embodying that experience, if you understand what I'm saying. I don't think I need to embody the experience in order to share it, in order to make it something accessible to you. I mean, I'll be honest, after recording those sessions, I couldn't watch them. They were so intense and emotional for me because I'd gone through it. I couldn't watch it. And I haven't watched a single full session. I've only watched enough to upload it and edit it because I experienced it. And I said, if I can't do that, I need to be able to honor them. And I know there's so many souls out there that if I don't change it, I won't be able to serve as many of them. And I won't feel comfortable having the energy to work with this other group, this other entity that has come through and wants to work with me. So I've got to make that adjustment for the well-being and health of all of us involved, and so that this actually makes an impact. Because if it's too hard to watch, you're not going to watch it. You're not going to get the messages that are really, really important and rich, that often came at the end when asked. I don't even remember what the exact question that she would ask is, did you learn anything, or is there anything you want people to know? But you won't get to that point if you're not able to watch it. So I had to come to terms with that. I had to come to terms with the reality that I need to be present for myself, and I need to do for myself, protecting myself and my own health and well-being. And that's okay because we got to take care of ourselves. I also had to realize that being a spirit communicator, and this is a challenge for me because I've actually had been stepping away from people knowing about that side of me, stepping away from offering that in any public way because of perception. Honestly, that was it. Perception and stress and judgment. And it was so much easier. It is so much easier to be the other things that I am: a writer, a singer, a poet, a mom. To be those things is so much easier. You don't have to explain yourself. But that's obviously not what Spirit has in mind for me. But being a spirit communicator doesn't define me. It doesn't negate, suddenly everything else becomes nothing. No, I am still Bernette. I am still an author of sci-fi and fantasy. I'm still an author of inspiration and poetry. I'm still a songwriter. That doesn't change. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I love musicals and to dance and to sing and to be silly sometimes. And I'm also super serious. So none of that changes. It just means that there's one more piece woven into the intricate tapestry that is me. And I've got to accept that. That's the reality. I've got to accept that. So, all that being said, I can be long-winded. I'm sorry. All that being said, when the videos post starting in June, after we finish this first set of 14, you'll see that the format is a little bit different where I'm communicating as a medium, which is much more comfortable. I'm holding and owning myself, my own body, but I'm also giving voice to the spirit that wants to speak, using me as a communicator, as a medium, the person who speaks in between spirit and this physical realm. So I'm happy about making that decision to go that route. I feel much more comfortable, and I think it'll be an easier experience watching and learning from those on the other side who have a voice and who need to give that voice to us. So thank you so much for listening, for watching this video. And if you haven't watched the prior videos, please go back and watch as much as you can. If you need to skip forward, fine, to get the nuggets. I know that it can be difficult to watch them. I recognize that, which is why I'm here right now, right? So please go forward. Going forward, you'll see a new format after June. Right now, the first 14 are in the way that we did record them. Thank you so much, and I hope that you'll enjoy the videos from a learning perspective and respect and honor those spirits and souls on the other side. Blessings.